Lewis here, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about a melodic death metal band out of Sweden that I stumbled across, Carved in Blood. And I'm going to be talking about their first release in their career, Throughout an Ancient Ride. This opens up with the Formation of Worlds, and I thought this was absolutely a perfect showcase for a band, especially on their first album, and for Carved in Blood, because it delivers so much of what they're trying to get across. Hooky, lots of elements and dynamics going on to grab the listener. Fast-paced, hard-hitting, really good to grab the listener, especially for your first track on your first album. It was very thick, aggressive, and fast at times. You could really hear and feel the guttural vocals, Viking vocals. They're very potent, very audible. I liked being able to feel everything from the vocals. They did really, really well throughout this album. Another thing I really picked up on that I thought was great was I felt the variation of the tremolo riffs did plenty to enhance the energy and the intensity of this track, especially since there was a build to this track, especially like around the interlude. The interlude contained like this really great atmosphere, and I felt like the worlds were forming, and they built off of that with this gradual build from the lead melody to the solo, and how the solo continued to speed up. So I felt this growth musically, and it kind of felt like the formation of the world was coming. So like I said, Carved in Blood, really smart way to open up the album with this track, The Formation of Worlds. Another track I thought was pretty interesting was Blood of Wisdom. I felt like the first half of this track had this thick pace with thick guitars and this great lead melody, but the second half contained kind of like an assaulting aggression with these vicious drums, thrashing rhythms, and this really nice wicked piercing lead. So I kind of got this feeling as I was listening to it, the music, the transition, the lyrics, the vocals, everything. I felt like one half, like the first half, kind of desired wisdom, and the second half craved blood. And that's kind of what I got from Blood of Wisdom. So you got to play on the words there a little bit. Really crafty song in that track, Blood of Wisdom. Now this next track, For Vengeance, kind of reminds me of Blood of Wisdom in a sense of the title kind of comes alive in the music, because it slams like vengeance upon one's head with several hard-hitting tempos, riffs, gargantuan vocals, but it contained also this awesome standout tapping melody, which was one of the strongest hooks on the album, if not the strongest hook on the album. I really like a lot of what the lead guitar does, melody-wise. I like the rhythms. The solos are really great throughout, but I just thought For Vengeance, I really liked this tapping melody, really addictive, hooky stuff. But I also thought kind of that there was a nice contrast here. You had the very aggressive and violent song overall, yet this crafty and melodic feel as well. I kind of like that depth and that contrast that you can get in a song, and that's really delivered on For Vengeance. And kind of also something new is delivered in these next two tracks, a bit of a change of pace in these two, Baldur's Bane and Sly One. I felt like there was just a new delivery of some new flavor, some new elements to these two tracks, and kind of broke up the album a little bit. They both deliver added some ear-catching dynamics on guitars and drums, delivers new atmospheres, tempos, and mood to the album, kind of breaking things up. And I felt like Baldur's Bane was a bit of a breather. Everything's hitting you a little fast, a little more intense for the first few songs, and then you get Baldur's Bane and it kind of comes back a little bit. It has a calmer tempo, even in the double bass parts. The double bass had a more of a rhythmic feel, and I felt like that kind of actually applied to the hypnotic melodies that are there. They kind of work together, this sort of hypnotic double bass and rhythms that were rhythmic, and they kind of really went with that hypnotic melody nice. But there was also some harder parts as well, harder rhythms that kind of applied to the first few songs of the album. And then Sly One, I felt like that takes from jumps what the first half of the album does and sends it careening into the second half of the album. Sly One just comes alive with some power and thrash metal tones at times, and those are kind of the new elements I feel. There's the power and thrash were really aggressive and intense. I really liked that. Added some really good leads in there as well on Sly One, so I thought these two songs were kind of important to kind of separate the album a little bit, give us a new little bit of feel, change things up a little bit, and Sly One's pulls in what we got from the second half and sends us into that second half war that we're going on. Now that War that I was talking about is Death to the Gods. This is easily one of the best songs on the album. The War is just on. The song is wickedly fierce. The riff details are awesome. I felt like the little things truly amplified the intensity of the music and to the theme overall. Even with the ferocity going on, the vocals still pushed through very, very well. Really audible. I could feel a lot of the emotion coming out of the vocals. This track is just an absolute beast. I love the way it hits towards the end of the album. Really gripping stuff to grab the listener quite a bit. I really like the guitar work, and the solo, was really thrashy as well. Kind of felt like a bit of a throwback all the way to, I want to say it felt like a Marty Friedman solo off of Rust in Peace. And that's kind of what I got from that. I love the grittiness to the solo. Really added to the intensity and the fuel and the fire to Death to the Gods. Now this next song, the last song on the album, had a really important part in my opinion. And that was in the interlude of A Dying World in Flames. I always say how it's important to grab the listener with that last song in the album. Send them away happy, send them away hooked on something, and that's definitely accomplished in A Dying World in Flames. I felt like there was this build to the world's finality, the atmosphere, the emotion. A lot of things were intense here, and the music and vocals really build up that interlude as we get to this where the flames kind of engulf and give us that world, of dying in flames, that sort of finality. I felt like the lyrics were really important here. They were perfectly fitting in my opinion. I like that they got their spot to shine in this song, and I also felt like the vocals were really potent and delivered quite a bit on that. So Carved in Blood did a great job of composing A Dying World in Flames for a really good way to grab the listener. I thought their compositions were really well done throughout the whole album. The way the theme and the lyrics were, they really apply to the energy and the intensity and the melodies kind of throughout the album. In each song I thought it was really well done, and also the song placement I thought was, we kick it off with a bang, we kind of come down a little bit for Baldur's Bane, then we shoot off a bit with Sly One until we get to Death of the Gods, and then we get kind of our relief, our peace, our tragic ending in A Dying World in Flames. So I thought they did a really good job with that structure. Kind of keeps you on edge, but a lot of melody and things in there to keep you hooked as well. So really great job from Carved in Blood on their first album, Throughout an Ancient Ride. So I'll put all the links, of course, to the songs in the description below for you guys to check out, as well as their Facebook and anything else like that I can find on them. And if you find a cool band like this, a little bit of a gem, and you want me to check it out, feel free. Let me know in the comments or on my Facebook. That I try to check on that as well. So, and I always forget to mention that I got my other channels and my Bandcamp and stuff like that down in the description below if you're interested in checking those things out. So check out some Carved in Blood, some Swedish, melodic death metal with Viking undertones, kind of like these guys have them all. Great fit. Those guys, they should go on tour together. That'd be a great fit, actually. Have them all in Carved in Blood. Until next time, folks, have some heavy listening.